Hello there, this is Critical from Critical Media, just taking a look at the 2023 hardcover release of Shazam, The Power of Hope. This is of course from Paul Dini as well as Alex Ross, the God MC, and what we usually do at this channel is give you an idea of what to expect if you ever come across these books in the wild. So we go over the exterior, some bonus material, art and plot points, and then a brief review at the end. Now, yes, before jumping in, there's actually a few things to go over. Number one, I'll admit it. Captain Marvel is my number one. I say that almost every time I cover him, but it's true. So if you get a feeling of a certain sense of bias, yeah, I love the character. But another aspect of this is of course a part of that Paul Dini, Alex Ross run, where it was, Superman, Peace on Earth, Batman, War on Crime, Wonder Woman, Spirit of Truth, and then, eventually, like Secret Origin, Justice League, and then Liberty and Justice. But those weren't necessarily Paul Dini on those extra fronts. The reason why I'm bringing those up, though, is because this book format is pretty damn huge. So just to give you an idea, this is a Marvel gallery size right next to it, or should I say just within it. So you can already see it's already dwarfing it. Here's a deluxe hardcover. Yeesh. And then just a standard hardcover or like a trade paperback size. So you're kind of seeing what I mean, where this book is freaking huge. But another point to why I'm bringing this up is they are planning to release World's Greatest Superheroes in absolute format. But I have to just caution people that that book doesn't have the same dimensions as these releases' original style. Or should I say their original dimensions. So in that light, when you do plan on getting the absolute that'll have this story as well as the others, that book won't actually have the proper format that these were intended to have. So I'm not sure exactly how they're going to crop it, but we already know the dimensions of an absolute here. But anywho, at least looking into the exterior here, this is very much akin to, I guess, the trade paperbacks version from like the early 2000s. Yes, I did hunt down the original trade. Man, I love this thing. This thing tied me over for so many years, but you folks may know I have a certain affinity for hardcovers. Now, a nice prominent spine. It actually goes hand in hand with the Wonder Woman Spirit of Truth hardcover from a few years ago. And just your typical fare on the exterior, but this is Captain Marvel after all. So, very on point in that light. Now, surprisingly, there's not too much in terms of bonus material. Really, it's just an interview at the front. And you have your bookends here, which pretty much outlines the origin story of Captain Marvel. I love it, actually. I love the fact that they went out of their way for that. And maybe just a little tidbit. The book itself does have a little unique placard here. I don't know if you're a collector or not. I'm not too much of a collector, but I'm not going to throw it out either. I'm not going to lie to you there. You kind of see how the book like beautifully opens up. Like there's next to no gutter, but then again, the book isn't too long either. Now, another aspect I always found with this particular release onto the, art and plot points is that I always felt like Power of Hope, unlike the others, like Spirit of Truth is probably the closest one to it, but I always felt Peace on Earth, it's good, but it's a very vanilla story. It doesn't really do much. Batman, War on Crime, it's Batman after all, so it's usually good, but admittedly it's cliche even for Batman. Spirit of Truth was good because it had its point and it had multiple stories that proved that point. But in the case of Power of Hope, Shazam here, I feel like, maybe it's because of Alex Ross's inclusion, that there was way more depth to this release compared to the others. Meaning you get several examples of the power of hope, literally. So, yeah, of course, it just starts off with your typical fare, the origin. Almost all of them kind of open up that way. But I love the way Alex Ross conveyed this, that Captain Marvel, he's inside a volcano and he's punching a hole through it. And I love how he managed to convince us that, yes, this painted style perfectly matches what he's doing on the interior. It's just beautifully well done. And because of this book's format, this large format, it makes almost every time you see one of these large, expansive, whiteout shots, I don't know, it just has this sense of, well, majesty and power to it. Lives up to its name. But yeah, you're just kind of seeing Alex Ross pretty much getting to play with his favorite character. It seems like Captain Marvel is his favorite character. You may notice that. Alex Ross almost goes out of his way to kind of include Captain Marvel anytime he has to do a DC book. Not to mention, there's a lot of personal aspect to, Alex Ross's version of Captain Marvel. For those of you who may not have noticed, he's basically based on Alex Ross's, like, one of his good friends, Sal Abenanti, who's also his agent. That, as well as the Wizard, is based on, his likeness is also based on Alex Ross's father. So I guess you can kind of see it, He has several ways of including his favorite character to match up with his own personal life. But anywho, as I mentioned, because the story is more so, yes, the power of hope, I like how it introduces you to, like, the expectations of Captain Marvel, what he's about, but then reminding you of Billy Batson, And this is one thing I always appreciate about Billy Batson. He's he's representative of the future and hope and, yes, that childlike innocence. But one thing I feel a lot of writers may have forgotten about Billy Batson is, for a young person, he was always incredibly responsible or very dutiful. So, like, in the Golden Age, he had a job, even when he was, like, 10 years old. So, in this case, I like how they carry on tradition. He's a radio DJ, just like he was in the Golden Age. And yes, he gets fan mail for Captain Marvel. He realizes that, it would be wrong for other people to do it. So he actually takes it home himself. And as mentioned, he lives by himself. He just tends to get by on his own. He prefers that. This is, I guess, the impression that before, like Mary and all that, Mary and Freddie. But anywho, I just like how, yes, he comes to a genuine realization he can do more for people than just, picking up a car out of the sky or whatever, But he gets these little bit of letters here, and specifically one from a doctor in a hospital. So he feels the need to kind of do a Make-A-Wish Foundation kind of thing. He just shows up to basically be their inspiration without, of course, first consulting the Wizard. Man, I tell you, like, as I said, the majesty of this book. The fact that, yes, you get this awesome pose of him just kneeling before the Wizard at the Rock of Eternity. I love this book so much, man. But anywho, I love how, yes, when he first visits the hospital, Paul Dini writes this excellent scene where the kid's just playing with a ball. He throws it up. Captain Marvel catches it. But at the same time, this nice subtlety where, yeah, you'd think this kid would be excited to see Captain Marvel, but he just is completely lethargic. He just walks away. But I love that angle, that nice little red herring. Or should I say that little nugget, that little, burdening of an idea. But yeah, you're kind of seeing the typical fare, kind of like the other releases in this series, where at least with the others, they kind of show you the hero can still be, like, inspirational. But remember, power of hope. So it's nice that you could see him visiting a hospital, kind of sharing his stories with, his all about his adventures and whatnot. And a lot of these are direct references to the Golden Age. Yes, I remember this. Yes, the Planet Punkus aliens, or Herkimer. This very image is a cover from the Golden Age. I love that. Just these nice little nuggets, good old Dr. Savannah there. But anywho, as you're getting an impression, one thing I definitely appreciate about this book is, for some reason, even though this is a character based on magic, there's a lot of logic in what he does. Like, he doesn't just pick up a doctor, there's a kid who needs a special kind of treatment and only a doctor in Japan can help him. He doesn't just fly the doctor there. He puts him in his car, then flies the car over. And I like that. And he even tells him to dress warmly because we're going to be going fast through the air. I love that logic. These nice little tidbits, this nice little bit of detail that really immerses you in this world. And just as much as, you can see him doing the superhero things, stopping these, thieves at a mine, trying to loot the mine for whatever resources it has left, and them basically causing a disaster. He never forgets that he's a hero first and has to save these kids. Again, another aspect I love is that Paul Dini and Alex Ross, I don't know, maybe it's more Alex Ross, but it's more understanding that Captain Marvel is a separate being. And he's just anchored to a child. So you usually get this more adult responsible person with little glimpses that there's a child within. Like, he's like so thankful he got there at the last second. Like, he's like, phew, thank goodness. Again, it's very convincing every time he manages to do it. You know, of course, his little bashful thing, almost a little reference to Busha, like one of his old golden age girlfriends. But probably one of my favorite moments is, as I mentioned earlier, that little red herring kind of reveals itself to be this, you know, scenario of domestic abuse. Man, who wouldn't love Captain Marvel to come to your bat? Literally to your bat. Picks up the bat and throws it like a mile away. I love this moment. Just seeing the lightning come through the window before he shows up. Man, so damn good. But, you know, through even the best moments, it doesn't stop from ever reminding you that, yo, these kids are in a hospital for a reason. Some of them, no matter how much you want to save the day, you just can't do anything, right? Some people all you can do is just give them the greatest passing they can into the next life. So love the fact that this book managed to even give you that angle, and that even he can be burdened. Loved it. Man, this story's so good. But yeah, and then of course the great cathartic moment, because the whole point of the book was the wizard warned him that a child will need your help, and you may not know who the child is at first, but man, I like the whole cathartic moment here because of the whole twist and spin to it. Like I said, there seemed to have been more thought into this release compared to the others, as I mentioned, Wonder Woman being the closest one to it. But man, this was such a banger. I remember it from way back when. You would look up Alex Ross and you would almost see images of Captain Marvel mainly from this, or Kingdom Come, or maybe Justice. But man, this is such an excellent release. And it's thankfully not breaking the bank. It's pretty well priced for what it is. So if maybe you're not looking for the Absolute Edition, as mentioned, the dimensions are going to be a little bit different. The book is going to be a little bit more narrow on the Absolute. It's probably better to get this if you're more of a purist. But nonetheless, I hinted earlier, I'm a little bit of bias because Captain Marvel is my #1 favorite hero. But it's no longer about me at this point. Hopefully you guys got your own opinions, and I wouldn't mind seeing them in the comments down below, as always. Y'all folks take care and enjoy the rest of your day.